In this video, we're going to talk about some of the ways Starbucks created the biggest coffee brand in history by repositioning the humble cup of joe into a premium product that introduced coffee culture to millions around the world. We all know Starbucks is expensive, but charging 5 or 6 times the price of a McDonald's coffee is actually a genius move. In economics, there's something called a rational value assessment that says people don't value products objectively. Instead, we figure out how much something should cost based on context clues and how they make us feel. In Professor Robert Cialdini's classic book, Influence, he tells a true story about a jeweler's assistant who accidentally doubled the price of every piece of turquoise jewelry in his store. Now, up to that point, the turquoise had been impossible to sell. After doubling the price, it sold out in a matter of days. When people see a high-priced item, they automatically assume it's of higher quality and more valuable than something that's cheap, especially when those two things are in direct competition. And that's what Starbucks did for coffee. They charged more for what used to be cheap and dressed it in a premium customer experience with nice tables, good music, and friendly baristas. That pricing impact has been so huge, researchers have dubbed it the Starbucks effect. In 1990, only 3% of coffee was sold at a more expensive premium price, but by the year 2000, in the middle of the Starbucks craze, 40% of coffee was sold at a premium price, because Starbucks set the expectation that coffee could be expensive. Most people know what FOMO is. It's the fear of missing out. Now, people hate to lose. In fact, the psychological pain of losing is twice as powerful as the pleasure of gaining something. The scientific name for this is loss aversion, and Starbucks knows it's incredibly powerful. That's why it spends so much time and money creating limited edition drinks like the unicorn frappuccino, or drinks you can only get at certain times of the year like the pumpkin spice latte. Starbucks seasonal items are so loved that they've become cultural landmarks, like their red Christmas cups that signal the start of the holiday season. When you start to see red Starbucks cups, a little bit of FOMO kicks in if you haven't gotten one yet. It gets customers into the store and it makes them feel like they're part of something exclusive and special. Sure, caffeine is addictive, but the Starbucks experience is almost as addictive, especially their app. It removes 2 of the biggest pain points from getting coffee: waiting to pay and waiting to get your order. But with its order ahead feature, the Starbucks app lets customers skip both the payment and the coffee collection lines. It also saves customers' favorite drinks, so it becomes really easy for people to default to getting a Starbucks during their morning commute because they know it'll be waiting for them when they get there. So now the 2 big pain points for customers are removed, and it becomes really easy to get into the habit of a cheeky Starbucks to kick off your day. And if you didn't know, because Starbucks makes you load up the app with money before you use it, it's actually one of the biggest unofficial banks in the United States. It has about $1.5 billion in stored value on its app as of 2019. Now, that might not sound like a lot, but when you compare it to the fact that about 4,000 banks in the US have less than $1 billion in total assets, it's pretty crazy. They may not always get your name right, but when baristas write it on your cup, they create a more personalized experience, and people love personalization. The cocktail party effect says that our brains zoom in on information that's relevant to us, like our names. It's little things like names on cups that set Starbucks apart from a McDonald's or a Dunkin' Donuts. Making you feel special helps create that premium experience. One of the smartest things Starbucks has done is encouraging people to customize their drinks. You can get a half calf, extra ice, no whip, whatever you want, and they will gladly make it for you. And psychology tells us that people love a product more when they co-create it. It's something called the IKEA effect. And of course, this effect got its name from a study where researchers observed how people bid on IKEA furniture in a fake auction. Now, I've talked about the IKEA effect before in this video, but basically there were 2 groups in the study. One was given a finished piece of furniture, and the other was asked to assemble a piece of IKEA furniture. When participants were asked to bid on these items, the people who had built the IKEA furniture bid more for the same items because they had fallen a little in love with their own creations. And if you love the idea of making customers fall in love with your product, then you are really going to love this video here about how tiny American grocery store chain Trader Joe's has beaten Walmart with their fun and quirky store experience.